The old power-assisted gliders. Yes, back in the old days. It's old. Um, and by the way, like I said, the cross meant, well, the planes were black, so we had to outline the cross with white lettering, with little white lines. And I thought it'd look kind of cool, but that meant medical, by the way, not really German. Um, anyway, like I say, and it was really the African War that became a problem. Like I said, blacks went into England and Germany, and we're just like, and they like came around from the side too, and we were fighting a side. We were fighting two fronts because they're trying to come up through Spain, and that wasn't working out too good for them. So then they started to mosey on around and tried to hit Germany from the side. And that didn't work out for them. They're basically building stuff like crazy in Africa, and they were just like hitting us as hard as they can, just like with like tanks and everything, just rolling up on us. And Germany and England, we were like, like we were just like keeping it down in Spain, and they were like trying to come up through Spain, and then they started to come around from the side, like I say, and they were trying to come in to England and what's called, and they were just like pushing really hard, like the black African tribes basically. They're dying like crazy, but like I said, they were trying to overwhelm us, and I think they had the Yankees on their side or something like that, and they were mostly they would just rape. They would try and do rape and run things where they'd go in, they'd kill all the guys, and then rape all the women and all the children, and then run away. And like I said, not very good people. Um, anyway, they'd come in like gorillas. They put down their fists and they go, like that, and they would like do the little knuckle dragging on the ground to like try and scare. And they would come in like five deep or 10 deep. They go, and kind of like drag their knuckles a little, like do this little like gorilla thing, and then they would just sprint and run for the nearest girl and guy, and they would like stab the guy viciously, and then they would like go for the girl and just like start going down on her, raping her, just like all hard, like that, and then like there'd be a flood of like 50 other people, and it was just basically terrorism, and so we would have people up high in the buildings. We just, they'd go, and I would laugh my ass off. Fuck you. Like, ugh. Pisses me off. Anyway, they were just doing standard terrorism things. Anyway, though, but in the meantime, I was building these gliders, and like I built the gliders. They're like super thin skinned. It was like a metal skin or aluminum skin glider, basically. Not because canvas didn't really flap around too much, so we did like these super thin, like sheet metal skin gliders. They're really really light, actually. You could almost pick them up. They're made out of metal, like galvanized or some sort of coated metal or something. We went from the pressed wood because we used to make pressed wood gliders, where we'd take a sheet of wood and then you would just press it into a mold, and you get like the shaped wood, basically, because we did a lot of shaped wood back then, steam pressed shaped wood. Anyway, and then we upgraded to just metal skinned gliders, basically. So we'd skin the outside of the glider with this really thin metal and do all this little like really thin metal. And I think we were messing around with aluminum a little bit. Anyway, so we would so people could buy a glider. We also sold these gliders that were what's called. It would say like 81 horsepower on the side or 71 horsepower, and what that meant was that was a glider. And I forget some. There was some ones used like the rocket fuels. They had rockets on the wings or whatever. So you go, and then I think there was a couple ones where we had like the props and they would feather to the wind, and then you could kick them out. What you could do is you could feather them for flight, and then you could kick them out to run and go. And we were messing around with the props that would spin up. They'd spin out like that. And they would spin. We were messing around with that kind of technology, like getting props that would fold in. When the prop slowed down to a certain speed, it would just go punk and fold up, or something like that. I forget how it worked. No, it folded out. I think it folded out or something. I forget exactly how it worked. And then it would spin, and then it would go back out or something. I don't. I forget. There was a couple tests with it. But basically, it had two 81 horsepower motors on it. Basically, if I remember right, on the wings. So it said 81 horsepower on the back of the fuselage for advertising and stuff. So basically, what you do is you'd pull them up. I think they could take off with like two people or something like that, but they were dogs basically, and pretty much you would pull them up with another aircraft, and then once you got up high, you'd start up the engines, and they could basically maintain altitude, and you could fly at a fairly slow rate, like 50 or 60 miles an hour or something like that. They were pretty slow. Basically, you could just glide. We're getting the wings just right, so they were gliders, so you could just basically glide around, and they're basically like assisted, for low altitude. They didn't work very good at the high altitudes and stuff. But anyway, though, but yeah, there was a lot of those gliders out there, and so a medical glider would be for like medical, and you could like survey things and stuff like that. Like I said, medical. The hospital. I had this big hospital company. Basically, they wore black, I think, or something like that. I think that was there was the blacks. There was the black uniforms, and then there was the white uniforms, and then there was, well, not white uniforms, mostly green. We tried to do matching with the environment. So like people who messed around with dirt or were going to get dusty would wear green brown or green, basically. Green company was for agriculture. Anyway, plants and stuff. Anyway, though, but yeah, that's why that glider is in England, because that would be a medical company, and that's what those pictures. Anyway, like I said, mostly I manufactured gliders and other things and paid for all that kind of stuff. I didn't really get involved in politics back then. I had my own company though. I mean, Lucifer White Star Company, basically, and we manufactured gliders, we manufactured tanks, we manufactured Gatling guns. And basically, I was a company. Eventually, I bought America and started America. So anyway, I named America myself. So yeah. Anyway, though, but yeah, I mean, all around the world, we flew to 7 or 240 countries, basically. I had farms or companies or factories and all over the world. Eventually, I pulled out because, like I say. Basically, the black people were making a run on my Germany and my England, and so at some point in time, I was like, "All right, that's it," and I started pulling everyone to America, where they'd be safe. All the women, all the children, all the wives, all the daughters, because these other people, the South Africans, were just going to rape them anyway, and probably kill them or something like that. So anyway, so we pulled them all out and shipped them over to the United States or America, basically my country, because I owned America. So I'd been building it, K-19 and all those other, I had companies and I had farms and everything, and so I was building America anyway. So I pulled all the women and children to America, and basically the men stayed and fight and backed up to Russia, I think, or something like that, and eventually would rejoin us in America. Pretty much, we're evacuating because it's just too big. That country, that side, it's just too big. I built most of it, but it was just always a hassle. There was always somebody that was trying to attack us, and somebody that was trying to kill us, or someone that it was just too easy for Africa to basically build tanks and basically conquer us. So I was like, you know what, fuck it. And we just moved to America and basically just took over this whole peninsula all the way down to Mexico and stuff, and basically held our line in America. So I own America, and it's like Lucifer White Star. Germany, France, England, basically all those people, and eventually I went back to the other side to rebuild and get rid of all the bad people, or all the people that were rapists and killers. And we pushed them back into Africa, I think, and held the line. So I don't really know, it got complicated. It's over a couple hundred years.